Ironically, things that work for you are often counterintuitive. For example, working out. Intuitively, it should be the more you train, the more muscle you build, right? But in reality, you need to balance training with the rest to effectively build a muscle. But it's human nature to overdo things, right? Because it feels reassuring and gives you a sense of satisfaction, a sense of I did it today. But in most cases, overdoing is counterproductive. Overworking leads to injuries and burnout. Overthinking holds you back from taking action and limits your potential and keeps you where you are. Overcompensating makes you look insecure and desperate. And one of the most common mistakes people make in relation to overdoing is oversharing, or rather, overtalking. It's a recipe for isolation. If you keep talking in a conversation, not letting that person speak, you lose that person. Most people misunderstanding what it means to be a great conversationalist. It doesn't mean having great storytelling skills or a good sense of humor. I mean, they're part of it for sure, but what matters most is empathy. A great conversationalist listens attentively and asks questions that the other person wants to answer. Keep in mind, most people are selfish. They love talking about themselves. They don't give a shit about you or your opinions. They are okay as long as they can share their feelings and thoughts. But that's not fair, is it? Because a conversation requires two people in it. It should be a two-way street. But what most people want is a good listener, not a conversational partner. So, if you want to make a good impression of people, just stay quiet and listen. Let them talk and make them feel heard and understood. And they'll walk away thinking you are awesome. The key here is a sense of importance, the desire to be important, recognized, and great in a community or group. This is one of the most primal, fundamental human desires, and it is almost as strong as eating, sleeping, and sex. And this desire is specific to human beings, and that's what sets us apart from animals. Without this desire, we wouldn't come this far as a civilization, because it drives us to compete, and competition fuels innovation and progress. This is why listening works. It is one of the most effective ways to be likable. By listening attentively and showing genuine interest, you can stroke their ego and make them feel good about themselves. Be someone they want to talk to again. It'll benefit you in so many situations. Namely, in dating. Again, if you want to make a good impression on people, just shut up and listen. Let them talk, alright? That's all it takes. Don't you dare to brag about yourself, what you own, or your career achievements. It'll backfire. Because one of the most common complaints girls make after first date is he was selfish, he was self-observed. Talking too much about yourself in a conversation makes you look insecure and selfish. And nobody likes selfish people who steal their spotlight. So take the back seat in the conversation. It'll make you look generous and selfless. And the more generous you are, the better the conversation flows. Did you know the golden ratio of listening to talking is 2 to 1? They say if you keep this ratio, the conversation becomes more engaging for the other person, not for you. But it's extremely difficult to control the urge to lean forward and cut them off because, after all, we are all selfish bastards, right? So, my advice for you is this. When they finish talking, ask a follow-up question like, and then what happened afterward? Let them elaborate on their stories, okay? In a conversation, make it about them, not you, always. This way, you can show them you're a generous, selfless, and big-hearted person. Also, keeping this 2 to 1 ratio doesn't just help you win people over, it helps you observe more information and respond more thoughtfully. Because when you're speaking, your perspective narrows and your ability to take things in drops, right? For example, in meetings, I often mishear what people are saying in meetings because my mind is busy planning the next move. But when I take the back seat and focus on listening, my perspective widens and I can observe more information and respond more thoughtfully. Try it, it's really effective. On top of that, people who don't talk too much often have more authority and influence, like a mob boss, you know? Again, the lessism principle applies here. The more you speak, the less weight your voice carries. Silence is powerful. It creates tension, mystery, in suspense. You know, there's always that guy in a group who keeps yapping, who never shuts up. His voice carries no weight, does it? Because, again, the more you speak, the less confident you look, and the bigger chances you'll say something stupid. So keep your mouth shut and listen. Attentive listening works in every formal communication because nobody likes being interrupted while talking, so we naturally appreciate good listeners. And mind you, nobody's going to think of you as boring for being passive in a conversation. It's the opposite. It'll make you more interesting and appealing. Attentive listening will change the way they see you and the way you see the world.